1st of January 2023. In this Skidmark, I'm going to talk about a social issue. And I'm going to talk about alcohol, because that is something that many people have a problem with. Many people deny that they have a problem with it. Many people are unaware of the fact that they have a problem with it. But the reality is, alcohol is a major problem in our society. I'm going to start this off with this meme. And you must look at it, listen to it, and think about it. Alcohol is a very effective dissolving agent. It dissolves families, marriages, friendships, jobs, bank accounts, and neurons, but never problems. This will get the least likes ever on my page, says the guy that makes the meme. The reality is that I am, as I call myself and labeled myself, a non-practicing alcoholic. Why do I say that? Because the reality is that alcoholism is, as far as I'm concerned, an affliction that you cannot really ever recover from. It is like cutting your finger off. That makes you an amputee. And no matter what you do and how you try to spin it, you are the guy without the finger. And you will be that for your whole life. That's the same with alcoholism. If you are an alcoholic, you're an alcoholic. You can never be cured. You can only get it under control. That is the big thing. People have to accept that. And being a non-practicing alcoholic gives me the authority to talk to you about this today, because I've got first-hand experience of it. I was a heavy drinker. I grew up in a house with parents that were functional alcoholics. My dad had 9 brothers, and they could really make a dent in any bar, and they were heavy drinkers, but they were binge drinkers. Most of them were binge drinkers, and a lot of them were functional alcoholics. My own father was a functional alcoholic, and my mother was a binge drinker, and her family, alcoholics and binge drinkers. I grew up at a time in the 50s and 60s on the mining properties of South Africa. That was the Wild West. And I don't think that the people of today, the youngsters of today, can even try to imagine what that environment was like. But it was a rough environment. It was definitely not for sissies. So, I started drinking very early in my life. And by the time when I went to university, my daily consumption was 6 beers and a bottle of vodka every day of my life. Today I can't even try to imagine where the hell did I get the money from for. But that's how it worked. That was my daily dose. And I had a roaring time at varsity, or so I thought, until November 1974. No, the 8th of November. The 7th was the end of my academic year, and we had a hell of a party. And apart from my daily dose, I had a lot more. And by that night, when we started going home, I already started thinking about what the hell is actually going on. But I got home, slept, and by sunrise the next morning, I was sitting on the grass embankment next to the varsity swimming pool, waiting for the sun to come up. I've already done 10 lengths of the pool. It's an Olympic-sized pool. And as the sun rose, I thought to myself, a guy that can drink as much as I drank last night and be in the pool before sunrise has got a problem. I got into my car and I went back to the hostel. And as I walked into the eating hall, I saw my friends there, and it was a sight for sore eyes. They were in different shades from grey to green, with bloodshot eyes, and all sipping black coffee. I walked into the kitchen area, dished up a breakfast of eggs, fried eggs that was swimming in the oil, a heap of bacon that was swimming in the fat, and toast and butter and jam. I sat down at the table and most of them wanted to puke. They were not eating, they couldn't take food. I downed my breakfast and I wished them all a good holiday, a Merry Christmas and all that shit, and walked out. But the image of that sorry heap of people stayed in my mind. I packed my car and I went back home for the holidays, and that night, as is usual, on a Friday night, we had a braai, and my dad offered me a beer, and I said, no thank you. And he didn't make anything of it, and that was it. The next day, the same story. And then he said to me, what's the problem with you? And I said, I've had it. I'm done with drinking. And he said to me, well, if you want, I will get you into Castle Kerry now. Castle Kerry is in South Africa, a rehabilitation center for alcoholics, and we used to call it the dry docks. And I said to him, listen, I'm not going to go to the dry docks, because if I do, and I get out of that place for the rest of my life, alcohol is going to be a threat to me. I have seen people that has gone through it, and I've seen how they crash and burn. I'm not going to go that way. If I cannot harness this monster myself, I will be a slave of it for the rest of my life, and I have no plans to spend my life as a slave. And that's how it started. For 18 months I didn't touch alcohol, not a drop. I lost a lot of friends during that 18 months, and I just accepted it like that. And after that 18 months, me and my wife were invited to a birthday party, and I said to her, right, I'm going to drink tonight, but I will only drink things that is nice. And that's how I started drinking cocktails. And that is it. From that day on, I would drink something when I want to. I'll take a beer and make a beer shandy of half of the beer, and the other half I wouldn't even drink. I drink, if I drink vodka or whiskey or bourbon, brandy, I drink it in a shot glass like this, a little shot glass like this, only shooters. I don't use any mix with it, nothing. And I can tell you today that I don't really enjoy drinking alcohol at all. This bottle been standing here on my desk for 6 months. As you can see, there's a little bit out of it. During the cool period, I used to take a shot at night before I go to bed. But after about, I think, after about a month of doing it, I just lost my taste for it. Only one shot. But I'm telling you this to tell you that you can harness that devil if you want to. The key is you must want to. I know young people that are struggling with it. The thing that pisses me off is that when they're drunk, they're as clever as can be, you can tell them nothing. And then when they're sober afterwards, all the shit they did, they blame it on other people. They never accept blame, and they always know better. But I want you, and especially if you are a husband, just remember this. Your family depends on you. You are the man that must take them safely through the rough waters on life's journey. You are the skipper of that boat. And when the seas are stormy and the waters is rough, they will depend 100% on you to carry them through that storm. Now, if you are a boozer, you are incapable of doing that. The big problem is you don't hear yourself when you're pissed. You don't see yourself when you're pissed. But you are all over everybody around you. Full of stories, full of actions, and many times full of aggression. And you don't have breaks. I have personal experience of people like that. They are pissed out of their fucking minds, and if you talk to them, they have got 1,000 reasons why you are wrong and now intruding on their privacy. And they create havoc and they sow destruction when they are out of their fucking minds. And the next morning, they remember zippo of that. And if there was physical damages, they blame it on somebody else. They never take responsibility for it. Now, I'm going to tell you today, if you have allowed alcohol to become the skipper of your life's boat, you are in deep shit. Your boat is going to run onto the rocks or sink. Trust me, that is what's going to happen. If you think back about that meme, you will dissolve your family. What these drinking idiots don't understand is that their wives have to tolerate them when they are pissed. And they must face them. And at the same time, she must try and shield the children from you. What the fuck are you doing? Let this day, New Year's Day 2023, be the day on which you make the decision to harness that alcohol demon, saddle him, bridle him, and make him your pet instead of you being his slave. I'm not a guy that's going to tell you don't drink, no, da. Some people, I'm one of those guys. I'm lucky. And I don't know how much it's got to do with luck and how much with willpower. I managed to harness that monster. And today I'm 71 years old. It's more than 50, it's almost 50 years that alcohol has been my pet and not my master. And I shudder if I think what my life would have been like if I did not harness that monster. So take note, alcohol is not a toy. Alcohol is not your friend. And if you have a propensity to drink too much, just understand there is going to be pain and sorrow in your future. Doesn't matter what you think when you're sozzled. And you as a person listening to this, just remember this. If you offer somebody a drink and he says no, that's the end of it. Don't nag him. Accept his no. The second thing, if your friend is at your place getting sozzled, you are the one that should stop him from driving. I had to go last night and pick a fucking guy up that was pissed out of his mind and made an accident. And I'm not going to give you the details and the stories about it, but I was so fucking angry when I came on that scene and I found him there, pissed out of his mind, but he was actually behind the steering wheel. And I asked him, where the fuck have you been? And he told me, no, he was with friends of the Braai. And I thought to myself, friends? No fucking way are those people his friends. If they allowed him to drive away from their house in the condition that he was, they are not his friends. They are not. That is the truth. That is the reality. I'm not going to tell you to be your brother's keeper, but I'm going to tell you this. Don't feed people alcohol. Don't do it. If they want to take it on them by themselves, let them take it. If they are at your place and they get sozzled, you better make sure they don't drive. Because if they drive, you are responsible for the shit they're gonna make on the road. Because they got drunk under your watch and you allowed them to run out free. So keep that in mind. And now I'm gonna stop this because this is a ugly thing for me, and it is something that I have got zero tolerance for. And people are actually ignorant and reckless with alcohol. Alcohol is dangerous. Alcohol is basically a loaded gun. And you must make sure that you are not the guy that got a person drunk at your house and he drives away there, makes an accident, either kill himself or kill other people. You are part of that. Remember that. Don't matter how you want to explain it. The problem is, alcohol is not viewed as dangerous. And if you drink, I have no problem with it. I also take a dop from time to time. But I only drink that is tastes good to me, and I never go over and abuse that bottle. One shot and the rest of the time I'll drink water or I'll drink a Coke or that. That's it. Because I have a rule. If I know that I have to drive, I drink nothing. When I was still riding bikes, I was a big bike rider. I did just close to 1 million kilometers on big bikes. I never drank because one thing was for sure. Alcohol and motorbike fuel does not mix well. And I have picked up too many of my friends that made accidents after they were pissed and got on their bike. But the reality is, alcohol is in our society. It's part of our society. And unfortunately, too few people take the time to explain to their dear ones the danger of alcohol. And if you're a father, I have got 2 sons. When my sons grew up in my house, they never saw me touch alcohol. Never. Because I made a point of that. Because I know, coming from a family and alcoholism is genetic, I knew that the responsibility was on me to make sure that they can never turn around and say to me, you taught us to drink. We saw you drinking. That's why we are drinking, because there are thousands of people that use exactly that excuse, which is a fucking lame excuse as far as I'm concerned. But I took that responsibility and I made that decision not to expose them to the use of alcohol. And that was it. Today, my one son is very balanced on it and very responsible, the other one. And the one that is not, is paying for his shit. What makes me angry is that he drags the whole family through that. But in any case, that is a personal thing. Reality is, watch out for alcohol. It's dangerous. It is very dangerous. And if you are an alcoholic, just remember, you can never be cured. The best you can hope for is to take control of it. And on that shitty note, please give me a like and a subscribe and share the thing. And have a great day. It's New Year's Day. Have a braai. But yeah, be careful with the booze. See you.